Okay, so this is weird. Still weird still to be doing this nearly 2 years on, right? So what I want to do here today is, this is the 2nd of December 2021, so you're going to be watching this in February. I'm guessing end of January, start of February. And I'm just redoing some of the videos for MS232 social media cultures, because in light of new material that's come out, and in particular with this recording, there are two reasons why I'm redoing it. One, this was previously one video and it was really long, so I'm breaking it up. And two, I've rejigged the order of the module a little, so just because on reflection of what kind of work is produced for the assessments, some of the topics needed to come up earlier in the ordering of things. So if I was to just use the video from last year, it wouldn't make any sense at all, so I'm using this video instead. I'm doing a new video. So I want to begin the course in general by really answering those two questions that I posed on the previous slide. What are social media and why are they important? And still the best answer to what is social media comes from Boyd and Ellison in 2007. This is Dana Boyd and Nicole Ellison. There is a slight problem with their definition, however the definition still holds true and it's still a very good one to use. The problem with the definition comes right at the beginning. We define social network sites as web-based services. It's actually that beginning. Social network sites now aren't really web-based. Most of our access to social networking comes through applications on mobile devices, which isn't a web-based system. It is an internet-based system, but it is an application-based system, not a web-based system. The distinction is small but profound. Those services, according to Boyd and Ellison, allow individuals to do these things, and this is why the definition does hold true. Allows individuals to construct a public or semi-public profile within a bounded system, articulate a list of other users with whom they share connection, and view and traverse their list of connections and those made by others within the system. As long as something does that, it is a social networking site. And that sounds reasonable to me. The nature and nomenclature of these connections may vary from site to site. We might call them friends, we might call them connections, followers, whatever they are. What makes social network sites unique is not that they allow us individuals to meet strangers, but that they enable users to articulate and make visible their social networks. Social networking sites are not about meeting strangers and never were. They were about articulating our own networks of friendships online. This can result in connections between individuals that would not otherwise be made, but this is often not the goal, and these meetings are frequently between latent ties rather than, so that's people who share some kind of offline connection but perhaps don't meet very often, rather than weak ties, which is people who don't have any tie at all. On many of the large social networking sites, participants are not necessarily networking or looking to meet new people. Instead, they're primarily communicating with people who are already part of their extended social network. To emphasize this articulated social network is critical, organized, and feature these sites, we label them social networking sites according to Boyd and Allison. So this is a remarkably robust definition of what social networking sites actually are, what social media is. Written in 2007, Boyd and Ellison had been working on this kind of phenomena since about 2002, 2003, but this has stood the test of time. It'll be 15 years as you guys are watching this video since Boyd and Ellison's definition, and with, like I said, with the exception of that web-based stuff at the beginning, this holds pretty true. This is what happens in a minute at any given time online. So we can look at this and have a look at how important social networking is. If we start at 12 o'clock at the top, 21.1 million texts sent. Is that social networking? Well, it's a form of social activity. YouTube, 500 hours of content uploaded. That's social networking. Apps downloaded. A lot of them will be social networking apps. 695,000 stories shared in a minute. That's social networking on Instagram. 200,000 people tweeting. That's social networking. 2 million swipes on Tinder. That's social networking. That's, we'll get into this further down the line, but you construct a profile, you network with people based on that profile. Tinder's a form of social networking. 197.6 million emails sent, and not one of them read by a student at Swansea University. 2 million views on Twitch. Is Twitch social network? And you bet your ass it is. 5,000 downloads on TikTok. Oh, that confused me a bit. Who the hell downloads on TikTok? Maybe it's TikTok. TikTok is being downloaded 5,000 times a minute, perhaps. But TikTok is something very important. And when I talk about YouTube later in the module, I'll talk about TikTok too. Amazon devices, meh. 3 million images views on Imager. I didn't even know anyone used that anymore. 69 million messages sent on Messenger or WhatsApp. That's definitely social media. 3.4 million snaps created. That's definitely social media. 1.6 million spent online. Could be on social media stuff. On Netflix, 28,000 subscribers are watching any point in time. That we will think about as a form of social media later on in the course. LinkedIn, which is it so? I guess it's social media. I mean, oh god, LinkedIn is so tragic. 9,132 connections made. 1.4 million people scrolling on Facebook in any given minute. Now, that means social networking and social media is taking up a huge amount of the activity that goes on at any given point in time in online in 2021. So this is a huge, and you will note as well, 2021. How up to date is this? Oh yeah, I'm bringing the real stuff here. This is, you know, I've put the groundwork in. I haven't put the groundwork in so much to this, but if we look at, I mean, there aren't some new things which have come along at the end of this infographic, but the history of social media, and if you like, computer mediated or computer supported digital social media really stretches back to 1978 with the bullet board system being launched. First sort of people using the internet for communication used bulletin boards as a way to post messages and to reply to messages on, in a text only format. This starts to this is the seeding really for the development of online communities, which begin in earnest in 1985. The first sort of communities that start to emerge. In particular, the Well is a very important one from the 1980s, and these text-based communities continue well into the 90s, pardon the pun, but the development of the World Wide Web in 1991 meant that text-based communication starts to phase out through the 90s, and we start to have more sophisticated forms of online communication emerge. So you start to get things like classmates.com in 1995, nascent forms of social networking where the connection is based around some sort of real world connection that you would have with the people on it. 97, Google is registered. 99, Blogger launches. So we start to see the emergence of the foundations of what we call Web 2.0 around 99. The first, I suppose, out and out social networking site that would correspond directly to Boyd and Ellison's definition comes in 2002, Friendster, a site where you set up a profile, you connect to other people, and you can see other people's connections and your own people can see your connections. You start to see the emergence of a network. Friendster has the architecture basically of what would come with MySpace in 2013. You can see MySpace there along with some other things like Last.fm, which was a music-based social networking site. LinkedIn starts to come in 2003 as well. But Friendster laid the architecture for these things. MySpace took it further and made it more popular. In 2004, of course, Facebook emerges from the hellscape that it emerged from and just made the world worse. 2005, YouTube emerges, and in 2006, it'll be bought by Google as well. We start to see the model emerge here of acquisitions in social media. So different companies buy up different properties in social media. 2006, Facebook opens to the public, which is very, very significant. But also Twitter launches in 2006, which is really significant. 2007, Tumblr comes along. 2008, Clout launches, which is the first service for measuring and quantifying people's influence on social media. 2009, you've got Foursquare emerges, location-based social media emerges. 2010, Facebook buys Instagram. Instagram hadn't launched much before that, but Twitter buys Vine, and you start to see this consolidation of social media in these hands of big companies. In 2011, Google Plus, Snapchat, Pinterest launch. So exciting time. Sorry, in 2010, Facebook, Instagram launched. In 2012, it was bought by Facebook. And really, the reason why I'm bothered getting anything much up to date, the only significant thing that really happened since 2015 is that this behavior continues. The big companies in social media buy up smaller companies, but we do see the emergence of one potential competitor, TikTok. It's difficult yet to say what will happen with TikTok. Is it actually going to be a competitor to Instagram, Facebook? I don't know. I don't know yet. It could be. It might be. I didn't think it would last this long, so what do I know? Now, as always, everything is about Marshall McLuhan. Everything. The whole world is about Marshall McLuhan. Our entire lives are dominated by Marshall McLuhan. Remember, McLuhan's media is extension of man, and the medium is the message. Mediums alter our understanding of the world around us, and that is the message according to McLuhan, right? In social media, we have a radically new set of mediums that McLuhan was termed as hot rather than cold. Rather than the cold mediums of the mass media broadcast age, these are mediums that demand attention and constant usage all the time. We can build on this and think of what other theorists bring to this. So if you look at Tanya Buscher's book from 2018, If Then, Tanya introduces the very important concept of programmed sociality. Everyday life is basically fundamentally intertwined with algorithmic media in the contemporary age. So from a McLuhanist perspective, life is co-constructed with algorithmic media. And the algorithms of social media produce particular subjects and conditions for action. What Buscher means by that is subjects. It produces us. We as people are made by social media. This is not a technologically determinist position. Algorithms are not controlling us, but they're defining the possibilities and parameters of how we might act, and therefore what kind of subject we become in society. And the algorithms of social media therefore orientate us to social interactions in particular ways. And that's really important, and that's really the McLuhanist point about social media, is that social media defines the possibilities for our actions themselves. How we socialize, who we socialize with, what kind of social activities we have. Increasingly, the algorithms that control social media are controlling those possibilities for us also. If we think about how we break down the term social media, we have two terms. Okay, so the media term, we can think of it in McLuhanist and, if you like, programmed sociality terms. The social is much more complex in many ways than our idea of the media. Our media ideas are complex too, but the social is a beast. And there are a number of key theorists we need to consider in order to understand what is social about social media. And really the tone and topic of video 2 this week will be on the social. And when we're discussing the social in social media, we're focusing upon the level of human agency, what humans can do through media, and that is critically important. Things that we need to be clear about right from the outset. Firstly, it is important to note that media are not technologies, they are socio-technical systems. That means there is technology involved, but there is also people involved in them. There is a technological artifact that enables or constrains a particular kind of human activity. A socio-technical system allows us to do certain things. And social media consists of both technological infrastructures and humans. If there wasn't humans in it, it wouldn't be social media, right? This is why it's a socio-technical system. Humans are at the core of this. We can't just say that is a technology. It doesn't work that way. They would be meaningless without us. So we have to think of social media in terms of socio-technical systems, which means the social is critical within it. And you might think, yeah, okay, it's in the definition, it's in the word, but the actual existence of it is down to social activity, and therefore the social, is a constructor of what social media is. This is Anthony Giddens' duality of structure and agency, and you might think, okay, well, nice looking diagram with these stick characters. What the hell is this supposed to say? Right, okay. It's very, very straightforward. At the bottom there we have actors, right? Through their agency, that creates different kinds of social structures. So we as actors do things, right? And in the process of doing things, we are creating different social structures in society. Those social structures then enable us to do different things or constrain us from doing different things. That creates what kind of actor we are. So there's a constant duality of structure and agency going on with every activity that we do. For example, I'm an actor, okay? Now, through my agency that I have, I decide, right, I really like sports and, and so on and so forth, so I'm going to go and support Swansea City. I become part of a social structure of Swansea City supporters. That enables me in particular ways to go and watch Swansea play, to, make friends with other fans, to have points of interest with other supporters, etc. To structure my social life in particular ways, to structure my time in particular ways. This all happens. It also constrains me in other ways. Means, I'm not going to go and watch Cardiff City because they're the scum of the earth, right? And therefore I'm constrained. And I'm not going to be friends with Cardiff City supporters as well because they're obviously, no, it's not going to happen. I don't want you. I don't want to be anywhere near you. I will murder you with great prejudice. And that creates a particular kind of actor. And this is going on constantly. I've given you one example, but this kind of duality of structure and agency is happening all the time. And okay, what does this mean? Well, according to the notion of the duality of structure, structural properties of social systems are both medium and outcome of the practices they recursively organize. What the hell is Giddens talking about? Well, we can summarize it very, very simply. Media both constrain and enable social actions, and social media doubly so. Social media is designed to constrain and enable particular social actions. So when we think of the social in social media, we need to think of how any type of social media enables us to do some things and constrains us from doing other things. And it's often the constraint which is the really interesting part of social media. That's the end of this video. I'll be back in the next video, and I was going to say I'll be back shortly, but you might watch this video and then never watch another one, or you might take a break, or I don't know what you're going to do. I don't care. To be honest with you, I don't really care what you're going to do, but yeah, I'll be back to develop this thinking about the social more quite shortly.